You might have noticed by now, this conversation we're having is basically sketching out two different ways of being, or ontologies. It's like the old TV game shows, where you have to pick between door number 1 and door number 2. And this is really how Zen works. Each moment you're alive, you're going through either door number 1 or door number 2. The doors themselves are what your beliefs are about time, world, and self. You've been going through door number 1 all your life, and this results in one version of being alive, a very real experience of an isolated self moving through a separate world. Door number 2 forms a different proposal about what's going on in terms of time, world, and being. That proposal is dependent arising. And when you go through this door, you have a profoundly different experience of being alive. But you have to stop going through door number 1 in order to go through door number 2. And that's what the first baby steps of Zen involve, stopping yourself from going through door number 1. And here's where these ideas of birth and death and unborn mind come in. The fastest way to stop going through door number 1 is to simply stop being born. Stop being born into these endless selves that are forever creating and charging off into their endless conceptual landscapes. In other words, door number 1, with all its ontology of persistent people and objects, and a continuous solid world with you in the middle of it, is all being generated by you getting born. If you don't get born, you never go through door number 1. When you go through door number 2, all the ontology of dependent arising is fully operational. Each arrangement of world lasts just a moment. Each arrangement of you lasts just for a moment. Rather than existing separately from you, refrigerator, sunlight, partner, and frying pan, and everything else are arising into a moment of self, which is identical to a moment of world. There is no need to grab onto or hold anything, because it is all arising into you already. The base level sensation that you have had all your life of being separate from everything and everyone is just not there. There is just one thing going on. A phenomenal moment where there's just one thing going on obviously resists being put into words. For language to say anything meaningful at all, it must have at least two separate things to work with. But there is just one thing going on. In Zen, this one thing going on is variously referred to as mind or self or dharma, but it's just one thing going on. And the fastest way to step into this is to stop going through door number 1.